Chapter 55. For the leader, with string music, Maskil of David. Give ear, O God, to my prayer, and hide not yourself from my supplication. Attend unto me, and hear me. I am distraught in my complaint, and I will moan, because of the voice of the enemy, because of the oppression of the wicked. For they cast mischief upon me, and in anger they persecute me. My heart doth writhe within me, and the terrors of death are fallen upon me. Fear and trembling come upon me, and horror hath overwhelmed me. And I said, Oh, that I had wings like a dove, then would I fly away and be at rest. Lo, then would I wander far off, and I would lodge in the wilderness. Selah. I would haste me to a shelter from the stormy wind and tempest. Destroy, O Lord, and divide their tongue, for I have seen violence and strife in the city. Day and night they go about it, upon the walls thereof. Iniquity also and mischief are in the midst of it. Wickedness in the midst thereof. Oppression and guile depart not from her broad place. For it was not an enemy that taunted me, then would I have borne it. Neither was it mine adversary that did magnify himself against me, then I would have hid myself from him. But it was you, a man, mine equal, my companion and my familiar friend. We took sweet counsel together in the house of God, and we walked with the throng. May he incite death against them. Let them go down alive in the netherworld, for evil is in their dwelling and within them. As for me, I will call upon God, and the Lord shall save me. Evening and morning and at noon will I complain and moan, and he hath heard my voice. He hath redeemed my soul in peace, so that none came nigh me, for they were many that strove with me. God shall hear and humble them, even he that is enthroned of old. Selah. Such as have no changes and fear not God. He hath put forth his hands against them that were at peace with him. He hath profaned his covenant. Smoother than cream were the speeches of his mouth, but his heart was war. His words were softer than oil, yet were they keen-edged swords. Cast your burden upon the Lord, and he will sustain you. He will never suffer the righteous to be moved, but you, O God, will bring them down into the nethermost pit. Men of blood and deceit shall not live out half their days. But as for me, I will trust in you. All right, let's go back up at verse 1. This, once again, we have for the leader, for the Lord, this prayer of supplication upon with stringed music. This is with the stringed music to call to remembrance, to make these twanging sounds, of these, to call these memories to mind of mercy. This is Maskil of David. Maskil is instructions, instructed by David, or instructed of David, the instructions of David. However we want to look at that. We're going to pick it up here in verse 2. Give ear, O God, to my prayer, and hide not yourself from my supplication. Give ear. Listen. It's just a give an ear is something we listen with. A give an ear is to listen this way for a moment. O God, to my prayer, and hide not yourself from my supplication. Don't hide yourself from my requests. Listen to me and listen to my requests. 3. Attend unto me and hear me. I am distraught in my complaint and will moan. Attend unto me. Listen unto me. Hear me. Listen for a moment. I am distraught in my complaint. I am distraught. This word, distraught, I believe King James Version says, I mourn in my complaint. The word is rude. And it means to wander, to be restless, to roam. This sense of being restless or not at ease. I'm not at ease in my complaint. I'm weary even in my complaint. I'm kind of getting worn out with it, and will moan. This moan, I'm going to cry out. I'm going to complain a little bit here. 4, because of the voice of the enemy, because of the oppression of the wicked. For they cast mischief upon me, and in anger they persecute me. And it's because of the voice of the wicked and the voice of the enemy, this oppression that they're calling down, this voice of the enemy, this oppression of the wicked, the voice of the enemy. That's those that are coming against God, or against God's knowledge, against God's understanding. We'll find out they got a personal vendetta, or they got a personal something they're trying to do. They're not trying to do what God wants done. They're not trying to keep the ordinances of God. They're not trying to do the will of God. They always got another agenda. And this is the oppression of the wicked, because they won't turn, they won't listen. They always trying to grab something, get gain for themselves, and they cast mischief upon me. This mischief, or King James Version says iniquity here. This perversion, this trouble, this wickedness, this sorrow, this idolatry, trouble of iniquity, wickedness. It's a aben. The word is aben, and what it means is simply like you're just kind of wasting your time. This worthlessness is what they got in before you. They're always trying to make a little trouble. It's like keeps a muddy place for you to walk in. Give it a little trouble for your even in your walking. In anger they persecute me. Well, that we'll find out they was trying to bring him down. My heart doth wreathe within me, and the terrors of death are fallen upon me. My heart's that innerness, the fabric. It's that which is within me. This that I'm sown of. It wreathes within me. I don't know why people want to be like this. Why does people want to always be out trying to hurt others, trying to somehow bring them down into their understanding? I guess misery truly does love company. These terrors of death are fallen upon me. Terrors of death, these fear that I'll slip, fear that I'll fall, this fear of being trapped in something that maybe they have laid for me. 6, fear and trembling come upon me, and horror hath overwhelmed me. Fear and trembling, scared to death, basically, shaking. Horror of not knowing, of the lack of understanding of just what's going on with these that run around and they do these wicked things. We'll find out there's really no cause for it, no reason for the wickedness of the earth, other than they're trying to bring down that of the righteous. 7, and I said, oh, that I had wings like a dove, then would I fly away and be at rest. Oh, yeah, that if I just had some wings like a dove, a dove always represents this peace coming down. If I had these wings of peace, if I could just fly away and go somewhere else and be away from all this, we'll find out there is a place. It's in our understanding. It's in our knowledge, and it's this place of God. It's the understanding that we are going to be right. Even when the whole world's wrong, we're going to stay in our integrity. We're going to stay under the ordinance of God and under His law, and stay in the peace, the tranquility that gives us. 8, lo, then would I wander far off. I would lodge in the wilderness. Selah, lo, would I not wander far off? Would I not go away from all this and be at rest somewhere far away, lodge in the wilderness in peace? The wilderness is a place where the words drive out. Then that word is going to be the word of God. It removes those things of the city, those things that are of the place that has a guard, those things that are walled up, these places of men where we're going to use it for an example. They do their perversions. 9. I would haste me to a shelter from the stormy wind and tempest. Yeah, if I could, I would just run away and go somewhere and take shelter. Take shelter from this stormy tempest. This this tempest, this wind, this period of wickedness and evil, this time of trouble. And that's what we're talking about. If we could, we would do this. There's times we all feel like this. If we could just get away, go somewhere, and we didn't have all this around us, see, maybe we could get some peace of mind. 10. Destroy, O Lord, and divide their tongue, for I have seen violence and strife in the city. Destroy, O Lord, divide their tongue. Well, in a sense, the Lord's already done that. God's already has destroyed. They destroyed themselves with sin. God said choose life. They chose death, and that's the way it went. We got no control over these things, but they do. Divide their tongue. Divide their tongue. Separate that out. Make them known, which that this divided tongue, we can look at it like a serpent. They got a forked tongue. They talk this way, they do that. See, they do that and they talk this way. That's what it's a similitude. I've seen the violence and strife in the city. That place with the guard, that place that's walled up. It's not immune. It's not immune from it. We'll find up. It's walled up. It's controlled. It's going on in there. God did that. God got it sectioned off. God makes an example of it constantly. 11. Day and night they go about it, upon the walls thereof. Iniquity also and mischief are in the midst of it. Day and night they go about it upon the walls thereof, and upon these places that separate. They trample upon them. They go out around this city day and night, in understanding and in darkness, both places. They go, there's no end of it, in other words. Iniquity and mischief are in the midst of it. Iniquity and mischief. Perversions. Iniquity is a perversion. It's like a twisting of the truth. This mischief they do. Now, I believe King James Version says mischief and sorrow. Once again, it's the wickedness, the mischief, it's the trouble, it's the word was aben, man. It's just the wickedness, it's trouble. The sorrow or the mischief is ama. That's toil, trouble, labor, problems. They're just causing problems. It's to be part of a problem, not part of a solution. See, God is the solution. God is the answer. God has got the knowledge. He's got the wisdom. He's got the understanding that answers, that is the cure for the problem or the wound even. 12. Wickedness is in the midst thereof. Oppression and guile depart not from her broad place. Wickedness, mist, is in the midst. It's just trouble. There ain't nothing but trouble in the midst of it. Matter of fact, we'll find out it's wrapped around trouble. They put on the outer garment to hide that which is within. And guile departs not from her broad place. Guile is something that comes. It's disgusting, basically, is what it is. The word is mirma, and it means, or mirma, it means deceit, treachery, lies, in some form of deceiving. See, it's in some form of deception. This guile that departs not from her broad place, and that's that place that was widened for the multitudes to get in. We know that's what it is. It's the marketplace. It's the merchant place. It's the place where they trade. There's nothing but lies and deceit in it. Their weights are unjust. Their balances are distorted. They have made falsehood their home. They have created lies for a sanctuary. They have made this place to be defiled, or to even for a purpose of to be destroyed. That's basically what it comes down to. When you practice these things, this is the outcome. 13. For it was not an enemy that taunted me, then I could have borne it, neither was it mine adversary that did magnify himself against me. Then I've hid myself from him. And, if it'd been somebody, it'd been my enemy, I could understand. I'd say, oh, yeah, well, he's my enemy. That's what he tries to do to me. See, if it'd been my adversary, somebody that's against me, that come up against me and said, oh, I'm going to put him down, I'm going to better. But see, that's the whole thing. If it was one of these, I could have hid myself from him. I could have stayed away from it and avoided it, because he's my adversary. I'm not hanging out with him anyway. But we'll find out. 14. But it was you, a man mine equal, my companion and my familiar friend. But it wasn't an enemy. It wasn't an adversary. It was somebody who was close to me, somebody who was a companion, somebody who we can look at it like we were going to have a relationship. We had trust in, we had faith in, a familiar friend, someone we knew. 15. We took sweet counsel together in the house of God, and we walked with the throng. We took sweet counsel in the house of God. We had an understanding, and we shared from God. And we walked in the throng, or amongst those that did. 16. May he incite death against them. Let them go down alive into the netherworld, for evil is in their dwelling and within them. But may he incite death against them. We don't have to worry about this, because God's going to. It's an automatic thing. It's not something we have to ask for. It's an automatic thing. When you transgress the Lord, it's God. When you have a perverse intent, we should say, in your understanding, we're going to find out. The Lord's going to bring you down. He's not going to hold out his righteousness for you. You're going to be brought down. David is asking them to be brought down alive into the nether world. Brought down alive into the nether world. Let them, in other words, let them know they're in the grave. Let them have understanding of it. Bring knowledge upon them and wisdom. That's the worst thing you can get when you're on the wrong side. You see, once you understand that, then you kind of got to find a way out. For evil is their dwelling, and within them. That's where it's coming from. They make that their home. That's what I was trying to say. They want to make that their dwelling place. They ain't got a proper understanding. They ain't got a proper knowledge and wisdom. No, they don't know that they're causing the whole thing. The evil, God didn't make the evil into the world. God created the goodness and told you to choose it. But when you didn't, when you went around lying, deceiving, making images, whatever the subject we want to pick up, we're going to find out, dealing with unjust balances, cheating people, lying, cheating. That's what it's about. And be two-faced, see. Try to make people stand and think you're a godly person. Try to make people think you're doing what's right. When the whole time, that's not really what's going on. 17. As for me, I will call upon God, and the Lord shall save me. Well, as for me, I'm going to lean on God. And this was the stance David took. I'm going to lean on God. I'm going to trust in God. I'm not going to trust in men. I'm not going to trust in the words of men. We have a witness here that says you may let your mouth run a little bit. 18. Evening and morning and at noon will I complain and moan. He hath heard and he hath heard my voice. Evening, morning, and at noon will I complain and moan. I'm going to make supplication before the Lord. When? Evening, morning, and noon. When I lay down, when I get up, and when I take a rest during the day. Every moment, every chance I get is basically what this says. Because I know God's heard my voice. I know God's heard my voice, and he's going to say, hey, why is my servant ever complaining in the earth? Why is my servant ever complaining in the earth? God takes no pleasure in that. when we're in justice, when we're doing the right thing, and we find out all the world's trying to bring us down through their immorality, through their degradations of society, through their lack of perspective or for what's right. 19. He hath redeemed my soul in peace, so that none came nigh me, for they were many that strove with me. But thank God he's redeemed my soul into peace. He's given me a little bit of understanding, some knowledge. He says, why are you worried about it? I give you my law. You've took it up. You've got you some understanding, a little knowledge. God came nigh me. He gave me a little instruction. He took my hand. Why? Because there was many that strove with me. There was many that were against me. Every which way you turn, there's a cheater, there's a liar, there's a thief, somebody wanting to help you go astray. Always somebody wanting to help you. Yeah, get into the wrong place. 20. God shall hear and humble them, even he that is enthroned of old, Selah, such as have no changes and fear not God. God shall hear. God's listening. God's listening. He always is. And humble them, even. And God will humble them. He already has. I mean, that's the humble is to be brought down, just to be knocked down a notch or so. And the one, even he that is enthroned of old, Salah, God, the one enthroned of ancient times, this one who's enthroned over the law, over the understanding. He made it. He set it as an ordinance in place before he ever even made man. God had the understanding. God had the knowledge. God had the wisdom. He prepared it before he executed it. 21. He hath put forth his hands against them that were at peace with him. He hath profaned his covenant. And that's what they do. They put forth their hands or their works against them that were at peace with them, or them that was trying to be nice, those that trying to give them place, give them somewhere to live. This covenant we're talking about, he hath profaned his covenant. This covenant, the covenant the just man give to the wicked or the unjust, saying, look, do this and live. Do this and live. In other words, we're going to spare you your life. We're going to spare you if you will do this. If you will keep this covenant, you may live. There's life in that covenant. God said, choose life. 22. Smoother than cream were the speeches of his mouth, but his heart was war. His words were softer than oil, yet were they keen-edged swords. Smoother than cream were the speeches of his mouth. And we're talking about this one of iniquity. Smoother than cream. It's always sweet, pleasurable, got something to go with it. I mean, but we'll find out in the end, his ways are just war. His ways are contention. His ways are strife and trouble and cheating, wickedness, evilness, lying, deceit. His words are softer than oil, yet they are keen-edged swords. Softer than oil, soft and smooth like oil, that which makes supple. The oil is that which anoints. It has a softness to it, so to speak, yet they were like keen-edged swords. But it's more like something that's sharpening up. It's sharpening up for the slay. We'll find out that it's deceit, it's lies, it's treachery, is what it is. The words are the worst kind. Words are the worst kind because they go inside and do trouble. They go inside and cause this harm. 24. But you, O God, will bring them down into the nethermost pit. Men of blood and deceit shall not live out half their days. But as for me, I will trust in you. But you, O God, that's who we're talking to, will bring them down to the nethermost pit, because we'll find out God's just. God's right. And this nethermost pit, that's the lowermost place of it. That's the lowest place in the low place. That's the pit in the pit, the hole in the hole. That's the bottom of the hole and the divot in it. See that if This, see, being the stage in between, we are not in the high place. We are not in the exalted place. We are down here in the flesh. We are here in the flesh, standing on God's earth, in God's earth. And God says, there's the grave right there. There's the hole right there. You're already halfway in it. See, you're in one hole. And there's another hole waiting. It's the lowest place. It's the grave. That's where you die. There is no there is no life there. And that's that place for men of blood and deceit. Men of blood and deceit. Sin is what it is. Sin. And deceit. They shall not live out half their days. We'll find out. They ain't going to accomplish half what they think they're going to do. God's got control of everything. See, God's got control of everything, and you ain't going nowhere until you turn to God, until you look for God and get some understanding, some knowledge, and some wisdom. A little bit of the law, some Torah to keep you in the way and to keep you on the right path. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put my trust in God. I'm going to put my trust, my faith in the Lord, the faith in His law that He told me was for my own good. He said, do this and live. I'm going to hold to that, and we're going to move forward. Psalms 56. Turn and return.